Hello everybody, Luke Schulte, Field of Grounds for Beck's Hybrids. Over the last couple of days, stumbled into a surprising observation. Starting to see that corn that was planted in the first 2 weeks of May showing some signs of crown rot infection. Now, if you're not familiar with this disease, you can't see it outwardly when you look at the corn. You have to dig the plant and split the crown region and look for that discoloration. But crown rot comes in from about 2-leaf corn up to about V7 corn, and it comes in one of two situations. When we're either persistently wet or we get a large rain event, say of an inch and a half or inch and 3/4 all at one time. And that's when that root pathogen actually enters the plant. I'm really surprised we're starting to see this because I would consider that we've had an overall fairly dry growing season up to this point. And therein, I believe, lies the problem. So we were talking with Dr. Dan Quinn, who's a new corn extension specialist at Purdue just yesterday. And what we believe has actually occurred is that really dry window of time, which is about a month long, last 2 weeks of May, first 2 weeks of June, has actually led to the compromisation or compromising of that young root system, okay? That really dry weather added a lot of stress to the crop. The nodal root system couldn't get outside the seed trench in a lot of cases, but it led to some level of injury to that root system, which is now allowing, as we're getting moisture, for that crown rot and those crown rot pathogens to actually invade that plant and infect it. Where do we look for it? I would say in a couple situations, you're most likely to find it a little more prevalent. We spoke about the planting window. We're finding it more in that May 1st through about the 15th planting window, okay? We think about soils that hold on to moisture like clays, high mag soils, low calcium soils. Those are soils that moisture is going to continue to persist. We likely will see a higher rate of infection. We know hybrid plays a role. 6235 is a really good hybrid for us, incredibly healthy late from a leaf disease standpoint, but we know when it comes to wet conditions early, it can be more susceptible to crown rot. Good news is those growers that have used Xyway, we're finding those crowns and that vascular tissue to be incredibly healthy. Now, more importantly, what do we do about it? We got about 3 options. Number one, we can do nothing. And so if we're finding we do nothing, the impact will be largely predicated on what are the other stresses throughout grain fill. Because remember, crown rot doesn't kill the plant now, but it does convert or transition that, say, 112-day hybrid and make it into about a 105-day corn. And when there's additional stresses, compounding stresses like, say, nutrient deficiencies, or perhaps dry weather, or perhaps even really warm nights, or a lot of leaf disease, I would expect if we do nothing, that is going to actually make a bigger impact to the overall yield and standability. Second thing is, we can apply fungicide now. Now, we have to be mindful of labels, but at least a fungicide now won't restore that tissue to being healthy, but it'll stop it. You can see in front of me, you can see a couple sets of nodal roots. From what I'm finding, 1 to 3 sets of nodal roots have been impacted with these plants that are infected at this point. If we spray a fungicide now, we don't restore that tissue, but at least the remaining, 4th, 5th, maybe even if we have a good planting depth, 6 set of nodal roots will actually still be healthy and continue to feed that plant throughout the growing season. And then the last option is make a mental note and apply a fungicide on those fields late in the season around that tassel time frame. We know that those fungicides applied at around that tassel time frame do truly help to not only fight disease, but actually to lower the stress level. And if we can lower that stress level, we can at least hopefully get more of those hybrids to full maturity and not be as impacted by yield. And those fungicides that are applied post-tassel always add stay green. So just a surprising observation we've seen on that first 2 weeks of May planting corn, and something I was kind of surprised by, and maybe some things to look for in your fields. If you have questions, call. Thanks for tuning in and have a great day.